city council had approved.
What do you, that the city council has approved?
Yeah.
This has never come up to city council before. So you can't discuss anything that has never been presented before. And with what Councilman, Edie is looking at, that is not the question for that report, for that mileage travel. And with that being said, you know, I didn't pick, but I contacted the state and I contacted other municipalities, and they said the clerk should not even do anything like that. That you should present and also present policy. So with that being said, this is the, look at this, pass this down to Councilman Denver. This is what I'm requesting, this amount right here, not that she presented tonight.
I think that's what he got, I think,
And the plan?
196,
Yeah.
or 198, 198.
Right, and that's what's due me, that's what come out of my pocket now. That's why I said this is so important that we get this settled, sometime very soon, because you take back in January of this year, and I've contacted other municipalities, we have to come out of our pockets to get reimbursed, and, other, when you all previously in the administration went to the events and such, you all never had to do that, not until I became the mayor. All of that was taken care of, and in other, positions that I served as an elected official, all of that was taken care of prior to mine, going to the workshops and conferences and such. And to get here to the city, I find that a bit appalling to have to, subject when we've got rules and policies and everything in place.
Mayor, every time I've ever been on, any kind of trip for the city, I come back and I turn in that itemized, report of food, lodging, gas, miles, whatever.
And so have I.
Everything's itemized.
Right, and everything on here is itemized. As a matter of fact, I think it was a few months back prior to your coming in, I had to, I was questioned as to who I fed and who was fed, who ate and who did this. Well, with the others, employees, request for reimbursement, they just brought back, please pay me a certain amount of money with nothing to explain, and it was paid, and I've got the, proof at the office to prove it. So to get here and discriminate like that with me is totally absurd.
I disagree.
For the time's sake, is this, if we pay this 198.16, that's all?
That's all.
We called it.
Exactly.
I'm gonna make a motion that we pay this 198.16 at this time. I make a motion that we do
Thank
this
you.
right now.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and second, going with, Councilman, Densley.
Aye.
No,
Thank you, the motion carries.
And just on this note, since we're dealing with the credit card, I think it would be an ideal time to write up a policy and procedure on the things that we can.
And cannot.
Yes, basically what this says, it has to be legal city business and everything,
Right.
and, you know, training. And as long as it meets the criteria, then I don't see
Right.
any reason. But
Thank
let's have a better policy that
Right.
states it, and
And
while
we
we're
will.
incorporating it with the credit card, we can write that up and adopt that as a policy too.
Thank you. And not only with that, what I'm going to do is contact, the Middle Georgia Regional Commission and talk with them about that, and also with that being placed in the, charter, that we have all of this, because it's fully not, in detail as to what and to give the, and this is no reflection, but this is the way, past, we come up with rules as they go, and that ought not be. The clerk does not determine who gets paid and who does. Simply, I'm the one who signs the checks, and so with the, exception of council, and I appreciate that, so moving forward.
Mayor, she might not be the one that determines who gets paid, but she is looking at the money, so I think.
Well,
she's
that's
doing a
true
good job
too,
as far as
but
that.
at the
Thank you.
discretion of the mayor, thank
Well,
you.
when it just says Atlanta business, I mean, they could be anything in the world, there's nothing to prove with that scar. I
Well-
cannot legally pay that.
And I'll tell you that, from this
But-
time forth and
What you
henceforth, further on, when it's, that from the police department, from whatever department, I want that to come directly through the mayor.
They have done all theirs in the past.
It's not, and I mean, when
It's
I
all attached.
see all of this coming through with nothing to define, I just say, well, the clerk, just say, pay me for 20 miles gone to Milledgeville. For what? I don't know whether they went to go to McDonald's or
They
Burger
got
King.
backed up with
But you know
brochures
what?
and
It
everything.
may be that she has it, but it doesn't come through the mayor.
That's
The
my job,
clerk
Mayor.
and I need to know better, and I'm your boss, thank you.
Mm.
All
So
right,
you
moving
can't
right
tell me
along,
about that.
Mm-hmm.
the charter states, so it's not
I
about
work
this.
for the mayor and council.
Excuse me,
Excuse me.
we will not entertain this from the clerk being disrupted. All right, now moving further along, we have item C, payroll. So as I've introduced before, that we're now moving to automatic direct deposit, and this is what she said, in times past that we didn't need that, but now she's coming back on board, so go right ahead.
Excuse me, it's payroll, which is not direct deposit. They will be running the whole payroll for us. Each employee will be able to choose whether they want direct deposit or a paycheck. But this is what the auditors recommended we do, that we have someone else do our payroll. So that's what this is for.
Do you have a, contract or some kind of a bid agreement from somebody to do this?
I do, and George and Jim.
All
I'm
I
not
would
sure we're
recommend is
ready,
that turn it over to the,
Excuse me,
attorneys.
but They do have copies.
Yeah, I spoke with Mr.
oh, can I get a copy?
Ewing.
And this is typical what the mayor has to be
I spoke
subjected
with
to.
Mr. Davis.
Now, that ain't right now.
I mean, I'm the
That
last
ain't
one
right.
on the totem pole. Nothing should come through until it comes through me. I make the decision.
The council makes.
You got sense enough.
I present it to council. Am I right? I don't come in your office.
It's right here on
Attorney
the
Boots,
agenda.
excuse me, clerk, I'm talking to the attorney. I don't come in your office and you're here at the discretion of the mayor.
No, ma'am.
Yes, as the attorney.
I'm here at the discretion of the council.
Exactly, at council, but the mayor calls you and says that you can be here or not be here.
Any council member can call me. in.
Right, but the clerk can't.
You asked me to set the agenda this time. and
This,
you approved it. You
let me,
approved this being
excuse
on
me,
here, Mayor.
I need to talk and say that in times past with ADP, when we had them come in, the little gentleman came all the way from Athens, Georgia to present this. And I'm with the green. And, he presented this to us for the direct billing. And it's a shame and it's appalling that we're in today's society and people, when you get ready to take trips and all, you have to worry about getting your check placed, what was that, chief, when one is out of town? See, if he had that automatic direct deposit, he wouldn't have to worry about being paid before time. I have to do what is in policy and procedure. I don't mind bending a little, and I did it for you. I don't mind doing it for anybody because of your department. But the most efficient, economical in today's society, because we're in the 21st century, everything is pretty much automatic direct deposit. And so that's where we need to get you all. So think about that, please. I beseech you, at the next meeting, we want to present the entire, so it would eliminate all of this. You won't have to worry about where a dollar is or 2 cents is. It'll take care of all of that. I spoke with the Morris Bank and he said it would be advantageous for us to go ahead and do that. And true, for those who want it, they can always opt out. But let that not be based on because one person doesn't want it. Let it be the ideal, it would save them a lot. They say they had a lot of work to do and it puts her behind, so we don't wanna overcrowd her, we wanna alleviate all of that from her, okay? It's not that the mayor's bashing her, but I'm trying to make it conducive for her.
That's what the payroll system is all about. They will actually do the whole entire payroll.
Okay, we'll have them come and present. Thank you. All right, moving right along, no further.
Before we go any further, speaking of payroll, coming up, we got Thanksgiving. All your employees are off on, Thursday and Friday.
Uh-huh.
Are you gonna pay them off on Wednesday?
Well, I'm gonna have to, look at what's, conducive.
Well, they need to be, I'd say that, they need to be so they don't have to come to town to pick up the paycheck.
Well, if they had direct deposit, it wouldn't be that
But
big
they
of a
don't.
transaction. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's
Audience,
neither
I don't need anybody talking, but that's what I'm trying to say now.
That's neither
It
here nor
would
there.
put, yes, it is here now, and it needs to be
Yeah,
discussed.
here now.
Right, and that's why I said to alleviate all of this, it would be advantageous to go ahead and set up direct deposit.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be, as of right now. And you won't have to set up by then, so, you know.
Possibility, and that's a valid point, I'm glad you brought that up. I'd like to see them go ahead and wouldn't have to worry about waiting at 2 o'clock on Fridays to get paid. It would be to their
I just don't want
advantage.
to disadvantage them having to come to town and pick up a check.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying, that would alleviate all of that. But as we stand now, let me go back and I'll get with you all about it, okay?
Did we have a pass out, didn't they have something passed out on the payroll service just now or not? Did we, or
I
did
need a
not?
she's supposed to pass it.
I didn't have any, I'm trying to see
He
it, that's
wants
what I
us-
like to see.
He said we need to push it towards him, because we need to begin it at a quarter, which will be in January. So we need to try to have it implemented before January first.
Who is this we? Who is he?
ADP, same
Okay,
guy that you had
David
down
Ewan,
before,
so we
yes.
just need to go in and do away with all that and just get direct deposit, that way it takes care of all of
No,
that.
you got to have payroll service.
Why don't you want, direct deposit?
It's included in this
Oh,
payroll
it's
service.
in this.
Yes,
Okay.
If they
ma'am.
want
Okay.
it.
If they want it, each
Okay,
individual
gotcha.
can pick.
Okay, okay.
If one
Well, that
employee
sounds
wants
good.
direct deposit, they can have it, if one wants a regular check, they can have it,
Okay.
they'll go, each person gets to choose.
Okay.
That's what this payroll service is all about.
Well, that's, I support this.
Mr. Green has a question.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think this, Mr. Ewing, if he's the one I remember, put this card on the table last time after he asked the
After
question.
being so rudely,
Well, he said, can we discuss this in executive session? When we told him we couldn't, he left. And so if you wanna make a presentation, I'll be happy to call him and explain that he needs to come down and make a presentation.
I'll call him and ask him to come back and, I'll do it, and then I'll
Explain
confer
that
with
there's no
you.
need for an executive session.
Pardon?
You're probably gonna need to just explain that there's no need for an executive session for this, he just needs to present it to the council.
If he comes back, and I think he felt like he was attacked at that time,
He might
that's from what I felt like he felt. And they were so against it, so now I'm so glad that, now that they're wanting it, so I think it would be a positive step, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I think it's pretty well spelled out in his little 3-page.
I'd like to really hear from, I hear what you're saying, but I wanna make sure that I've got better understanding.
My understanding from talking to him by phone today is they were contemplating starting this January 1st, like,
Yes.
I'll be cognizant of that. I'll get back with you later. All right, thank you so much. All right, moving right along from that. Next, we'll move to the committee reports. We have, Main Street, Mr. Daniel.
Yeah, Mayor, Council, thank you very much. Just to go over our Halloween, great success. We had over 3,000 ghosts and goblins in town for that trick or treat, old and young. We did over 6 tours at the historical cemetery that night. We had over 40 volunteers, working with our ghost tours. We want to give special thanks to our police department and our fire department for the job they did protecting everyone. It was a great event for everyone. We are planning in December a employee and a volunteer appreciation dinner. We'll get together with our board on that. We'll let y'all know all the details about that.
Excuse me, is that for the Better Hometown staff, or?
It's
Are you
for
talking
all
about for the
employees
city?
who work with the Better Hometown, and then for all the employees of the city.
Okay, because, sort of like when I brought that idea to early on for the city employees.
Yeah.
To do that, so now what you're going to do now is take it under your umbrella for the Better Hometown. I don't mind it so long as we get something
Yeah,
done.
as long as
That's
we
a
get
good
something
gesture.
done for our
Exactly.
employees and our
Thank you.
volunteers.
Thank you.
We want to thank our historical director, Roy Mixon. He is making and selling blue bows in support of the police department for the fine job they're doing, and all the proceeds he collects, all the profits will be used to buy 2 park benches for our town. And so Roy's doing a great job with that. We'll have a board meeting ourselves, Main Street, November the 30th of this month, to set our priorities for next year. And,
Can anybody come to this meeting or just for the board?
anybody is welcome to come.
And we'd like
the
to
board.
get that advertised so others can join.
Yes, ma'am.
Better Hometown and become more,
Absolutely.
see some faces, there's young folk, I think it'd be a great idea.
If
Get
you're,
them
if
involved.
you are a citizen of Gordon, you are a member of Main Street Gordon, whether they have.
Okay. Very good.
A couple of months ago, we gave the council some guidelines for the depot. We are gonna update a few things in there, and next month, present it to the council for them to look at. We're planning on applying for a couple of grants next year for the depot, for the outside and the inside. And it would be great if we could just specify this is a museum and what we're using it for, the guidelines, and get it approved by council. So hopefully between now and the next council meeting, we will get that took care of and give a copy to all our council members for them to look at, and hopefully be able to put in effect at the next council meeting. And I think that's about it, Mayor, we have right now.
Okay, but you're gonna still get back with us regarding the, what is it, the festivals? Because in this year, generally, you know,
Yeah.
another year went by, what is this, the 100 and what year?
I have to go back 125th, 30th year, 30th year,
Wow.
but for our birthday celebration, and we'll certainly make reference to that at our dinner we have for our employees and our volunteers.
Okay.
Yeah, for that. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, will you be doing the, veteran council?
We normally do the float Santa Claus rides in the parade. And so, yeah, we'll get some volunteers together and we'll decorate that, yes.
And two,
Yes.
I don't know, but this is something I think would be good to incorporate with Veterans Town, that you all do something for our veterans here
Okay.
in the city. I know we have them throughout the county, but that would be for us as a city of Gordon to recognize our veterans.
Yes.
You know,
Mhm.
would you consider that too?
Yeah, you know, when we've done our festival, and last year was a bad time, because of the weather, but we always recognize our veterans at the beginning of that concert night with a flag ceremony.
I know, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, let's do that a whole, because a lot of them may not be able to
Okay.
come to that festival, but let's just do something in recognition
We'll
of them.
plan something on it. We'll bring it up to our board this coming, last Monday, and we'll discuss that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
All right, next we have fire department.
We have been very fortunate lately not to have any, major fires, anything, and, we have a lot of emergencies, a lot of, like you talking about, Miss Hattie Jenkins, and when she's in town, we've been to her house a lot of times. I know her personally too, she was a fine lady. But most of ours lately have been mostly emergencies, so we've been very fortunate on fires.
Now, with that being said, Councilman, Edie, I went out, is that the same here? I noticed that when accidents, I was on the interstate coming in from, the south part of the state, southern part of the state, and there was an accident last night, and they have the fire trucks there. Is that something that this city does too?
Yes, ma'am.
Indeed.
Yes, ma'am. Just kind of a
Out
clarification.
there on 95.
Yes, ma'am. Our county is divided up in, 6 or 7 different districts throughout the county because we have such a large county, we have so many different small fire departments. So we're divided up and the county pages us out according to where, the accident might be.
Okay.
If it's in the Gordon area, of course, we respond. Ivy, we're responsible for it too. But each fire department is responsible for their section of the
Okay.
county, yes, ma'am.
That's to the extent of the damage is done or the injuries is done.
And a
Well,
lot of
fire
times-
department's called out.
Right, and we have mutual aid, we use each department to help the other one and outside county too.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
right, great. I mean, there was, like I said, out there on Interstate 95, just seeing that, it just reminded me, I think, so much of our fire department.
Yes, ma'am.
And thank you for doing such a wonderful job.
Thank you, ma'am.
Police, Councilwoman Payne.
Got nothing to report, so I guess everything is good.
Yes, ma'am.
And so with that being said, they're gearing up for, what is this, we don't have Thanksgiving parade, so we have the, not the Macy's parade, but we have a Gordon Christmas parade, so, you'll be on top of that. All right. Streets, and I'd like to say before Councilwoman, Whipple, that I've spoken with, Mr. Henry Lamar Nelson, and I do realize he's had death in his family, and with the reports that, with other, but I told him that too, we're now in the fall where it gets dark outside, and with, that being said, and thank you so much to the police department for the protection, but we want to make sure that we have lighting, proper lighting out there. So, he's going to try to keep it, even though we have it now in the budget, but I told him to get us a price of what he is going to charge us and bring it back to us, and he'll let us know we need to get lighting on each end, okay?
And if it's over $500, we have to bid it out, you know,
Right.
this one.
Exactly. So, but I think, like you said, I think it was you, was it you I spoke to and said, right now, we can go to Home Depot, is it Home Depot or Lowe's
Oh,
or something?
right, right, you can
and-
get
and
them less than
those,
that, yes, ma'am.
exactly, and right now, something is better than that,
Sure,
okay?
I agree, yes,
So I
ma'am.
don't think it needs to go up to that right now, but even with those lights out there, city lights, so no one will have an accident and back into anyone's, Bentley or what have you, or, you know, vehicles of such. We want to have proper lighting out there. Go ahead, Councilwoman Winfrey.
Okay, the streets are looking better. I didn't say perfect now, I said better. And on Hollis Street, we did get one quote. Melvin he's here and he can tell you more about that. On the repairing of the street.
Okay. Are you still on your topic, or are you done?
I'm done, except for if he wanna get up and tell about it, he gets one quote, we did one.
Is that this one?
Is that one?
Move back there in there.
Okay. And so, Mr. Lawrence, would you care to expound if you're here? Come down, please.
It's basically.
We'll wait till you get here.
What it's itemized saying, it's itemized to the point where, you know, each thing that he's got listed on the estimate. And, he said if you wanted something he called something, I don't know if it's some sort of tack that they put down before the spots where the cracks are on Hollis Street. He said you can go with it or without the tack. And with the tack, it just takes the cracks longer to come bleed back through without it. And so that's the only discrepancy, and the price of the estimate
Amount of the quote.
reflects, right,
With it being added in there,
Right.
with the tag,
right.
okay. So you're going to get us, two more?
If you like, most of the time,
I mean, this
Womack-
is stated by
Right,
council,
right,
I'm not
right,
sure.
I mean,
Mr. Wynn, you've been in this position, so, you know what it takes,
If you can get three, sometimes it's hard to get three. Some of them don't wanna come for a small job like this, yeah.
Mr. Lawrence, would you try to get us two more?
Sure.
all right. With that being said, then we have these, and where are they from? Oh, Gray, Georgia.
great.
Okay, all right, so we, as we say, three is what we'll get. All right, thank you so much. Now we have sanitation. Oh, before we go further, I'd too like to compliment the, staff, that with the streets, they are looking better. And so I'd like to say, citizens, people of the city, and if you see people littering, please tell them not to be a litter bug. We want to keep, the streets, looking nice and good and presentable. And I just really do think that we're on the road to recovery. There are a lot of things going on, but I think with us working together, putting our differences aside, and after all, you know, I am the mayor, like it or not. But I'm here at the pleasure to work for all of us together. So let's keep, rather than keep Georgia peachy clean, let's keep Gordon squeaky clean.
And get a tag done and call the police department, report it.
All right, so, with that being, and the workers have done a marvelous job. I've rode around the city looking at the various streets, and particularly, Main Street, and College Street going up and knowing that they moved the trees back out of the limbs out of the way. Of course, there's always room for improvement, but a little is on the way. And, we appreciate that. All right, moving further along, sanitation.
Man, you know, I was talking about that problem with, Mr. Dixon and his problem, when he was supposed to get back with me, he never did, so undoubtedly he ain't thinking too much about it, he ain't got back with me, so it still stands as it were.
Oh, well, he comes to City Hall, and
Has he talked to you about it, anything?
then no one is, voiced any concerns, and so I said, silence is golden, as you said.
One other thing that you mentioned about one of our oldest citizens passed away, Miss Jenkins.
Yes.
Well, we had another one, a lot of chalk miners know her as Emerson Beals with her. She passed away yesterday morning, I think. She was 89 years old. Live on Green Street.
Right. And she happens to be, one of my brother's mother-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you brought that to
Yeah.
our attention. And, I believe one of our, constituents, generally here, she's not here, but, her brother, Lynn Nelson passed, and I like old Lynn, good old fella. But, this is called life. We hate to see him go, but, you know, we hope they've gone on to a better life. All right, next, I don't have anything where citizens, presented, so we don't have anybody to hear tonight. With that being said, don't have anything except, we're now to exit into executive session.
I make a motion, we go into executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Motion has been made in second, roll call, Mr. Densley.
Aye.
Dang, it got dark fast.